Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 14 of It's Cool with Jasmine Cool. As you can clearly, no, if you're watching the video, you can clearly see I'm in a different location. If you're just listening, you can't. I'm in a different spot. I'm on break from college. It's my winter break. So yeah, I'm back home right now. I not sure how I feel about it. This episode is already late by like um 22 hours, but it's fine, okay? We'll call it emotional recovery from finals week. Also this lighting is fucked because I'm using my closet light. I don't know if it would be better or worse if I shut that lamp off, but we're just not gonna bother with that, because I don't have anything this direction. So, but this was like the best place to set up. I would have my ring light, but that was missing from my room when I got here. I thought, oh, maybe my sister took it. It was in my mom's bathroom. My mom has it. I think my sister took it for my mom. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's fine. I wasn't using it, obviously, because I wasn't here. I think my sister asked. Like, I have a vague, like, possible memory of that being a thing. Um, but yeah, I'm unsure of how this vibe is gonna be. One, I'm tired. Two, the last episode I did hear, the vibes were completely off. It was the first episode, the introduction episode, which is a problem because I can't delete it. Because it's the introduction episode. But the vibes are completely different, and that's like my most listened to episode because it's the first one. Do I like remake my introduction episode? Then I have to like listen to the whole thing and make sure I say like exactly the same stuff. I guess it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but I have to make sure I say everything I said in that video. Because otherwise, like, context is going to be weird for other episodes. But I'm very tempted to redo that one because the vibes are just so different. Because I did it after work one day, which that for me is like 11:30. It was like 11:30 on a Monday night. Um so yeah. I was talking really quietly. It was basically kind of like ASMR. My sister hated it. My best friend loved it. Uh, but yeah, this lighting situation. I also have, this is my closet. So there's obviously nothing here that I could put my phone on to like do that. Um, yeah. No, it's throwing me off. But it's fine. Okay, it's fine. It's whatever. Um, my finals, like finals at my school, my whole education doesn't feel real because I go to music school. I have one class this year that's not a music class. What is that? That's not real education. It is. Don't fight me on it, but it doesn't feel like it sometimes. Um, 'Cause I got music theory where I write music basically with certain parameters. Um, and then I've got sight singing where you like it's what it sounds like. You look at it and you sing it. It's all like very basic melodies and you use solfege, but like sight singing, that's a class that I have. What makes it even better is it's taught Not in like an actual like classroom building. It's taught in a little house on campus. Yeah, like the living room of this little house. It's got desks in it and a chalkboard, but it's a little house, which is really funny. Um, it's really a vibe. Uh, and then this class is causes quite the conundrum sometimes because I sometimes forget that it's not a normal thing that everybody knows what it is. It's called oral skills. Oral, AURAL, as in your like ear. Oral skills. Not oral, ORAL. In oral skill, it's said that like the same, but like when fellow musicians are like talking to like non-musicians, you have to like say oral so that it sounds less like oral because you can imagine all of the jokes that stem from that. Yeah, in oral skills, you hear you like hear different kinds of music and then you notate it into sheet music. Very difficult class. Uh, it's really funny. Yeah. The way they do that class though kind of pisses me off, and it's the same everywhere because they will have you transcribe it in a different key than what's actually being played. They'll like give you the first note, the key, and then how many measures it is. And they do it in a different key than what's actually being played to make it harder for people with perfect pitch, which is fucking stupid. Because, one, if they actually have perfect pitch, it's going to be easy for them anyways. They know exactly what notes are being played. So, oh, they have to transpose. How? That's not hard. I've been doing that since I was like 12. Anyways, and if they actually had everybody, because the people with perfect pitch are gonna have an advantage, let them have that advantage. It's fine. You know, like, it's whatever. The people without perfect pitch are getting extra fucked over because, especially the people who have any kind of relative pitch, because most of the time the transpositions are like, oh, like really close, so it's like whatever, but sometimes they'll be like so far away that like it fucks with my brain because I was doing one once and the note being played was like almost a whole octave higher, and so I was like, the notes that I was supposed to be notating, and it's weird for me because I'm a vocalist, so I have like an idea of where every note on the staff fits in my voice range, like placement wise, and you know, it's really cool, but so I like was hearing this note that was in a completely different part of my range than the notes I was notating. I'm like, this is supposed to be like middle voice. What the hell? So I started like writing it up the octave, and then the poor TA was like, it's the one lower, and I was like, it's not that note. And she's like, do you have perfect pitch? And I was like, no, I don't. I literally don't have perfect pitch. If I had perfect pitch, my life would be fantastic. 10 out of 10. My life would be so much easier. I'd be having a grand old time. Okay? Oh, but I don't. I don't have perfect pitch. Ugh, I hate it. Anyways, so like, plus, if we did get to do the exercises in the actual key that they're in, it would be like way more effective because we would get pitch memory and then everybody would have way better relative pitch, which is what you want in a group of musicians. You want your musicians to have very good relative pitch so that, it just makes a lot of things easier. But if you're doing it in like different keys and stuff, You can't do that. Like, so it just fucks with our pitch memory because you're making it harder for the people with perfect pitch. Like, no, don't do that. That's rude. It's silly. Silly goose. Ugh. And so, yeah, there's that class. And then I've got my studio class, which is like performance class. And then I have my voice lessons, and I have choir, and I had intro to vocal studies, which was an insane class. Had no, there was like no clear purpose. The teacher was like, I don't want this class to be extra work for you. So we basically, no one knew what was happening week to week. We met once a week for an hour and 10 minutes. And pretty much anything could happen. So, yeah. A lot of strange things happened in that class. But it was kind of fun. But yeah, and then my one class that wasn't a music class was first year studies, which is not like most campuses' first year studies where it's like, oh, we're going to teach you how to not die or whatever. It's we read Plato's Republic. We read like a Native Guard, which is like a poetry collection. We read Stranger in the Shogun City, which is a book about a person who lived in Japan in like the 1800s, I believe. Yeah. And like her life in Tokyo, which was Edo, but is now Tokyo. And we looked at this picture from like a photo collection about the industrialization of New York City. And we had a gamelan workshop, which I think I've talked about before, is like a style it's an Indonesian style of music where the tuning is funky and it's very cool. So that was that class. That was like, I had 2 classes where I had like an actual final, and it was that class and music theory. Um, my theory final was okay. I was like, yeah, whatever. I know this stuff. My first year studies final, fucking nuts. The expectations we had for that, like literally 2 people in my class said they handed a tutor the like test like like things we had to know, and they just went good luck. Because we were expected to know like everything from every work we did that term. So like for each chapter in Shogun City, we had to know and be able to explain. This doesn't look like it's going. Hold on. Oh no, it is. Okay. And be able to explain like the gist of like what happens, and then 3 details that stood out to us and why they stood out or why they were significant for every chapter. It was insane. Thankfully, that was like one of the biggest things I studied because I listened to an audiobook. I think I fucking remember what chapter was where, but thankfully, because I was also focusing on the chapter titles, because he had said something about like there possibly being questions about why the chapter was titled a certain way, which helped me like keep track of what happened in each chapter, which therefore helped me like recognize what details went with what, because they were things that happened in that chapter. Yeah. And then we had to know like all of the questions from our Play-Doh reading guide, which was a lot. Okay. And we were supposed to know all of the terminology for the poetry and the picture of like framing and angles and like consonants and a slant rhyme. And that was like the one thing I kind of forgot to study was all of the terms, especially for the poetry. And that was actually on the test. It was like the one thing where I didn't like immediately know the answer. Because it was what is a slant rhyme and what is a sonnet. And I knew what a slant rhyme was. It's when two words don't quite rhyme, but they're like really close. A sonance, I was like, it has something to do with vowels. That's all I could remember. I was like, is it when two words start with the same vowel sound? But that's like alliteration. And then, because all I could think was like when words have the same vowel sound. So I literally just wrote when words feature the same vowel sound. I don't know if he will take that answer. It's not technically incorrect. It's not the best definition you've ever heard of for that word, but it's not technically incorrect. Yeah. And turns out for like the chapter stuff from Shogun City, we only needed to know that for one chapter. So I prepared for all 9 chapters, and there was just one on the test. Just one. But you had to know all of them because we didn't know which one he was going to pick. Yeah, that was kind of sad. But it's fine. It's fine. Okay? It's whatever. There's a lot of people that didn't like that teacher. He was kind of an asshole. He knew it, though. Mega ADHD. Mega. Like, told us one time he was gonna send out our paper prompt. Oh my goodness. Never sent it out. He told us that on like, it was either a Wednesday or a Friday. And we had, so, anyways, and then we get to a Monday. This paper, mind you, is due Thursday. We don't have the paper prompt yet. We have like a general kind of what he's thinking, kind of. So he's like, yeah, didn't send that out. Basically, just, so he told us basically what he had told us before. And then was like, just throw some shit down. Just ideas. So, yeah. We're like, okay. But then had these crazy expectations for the final. And it was just insane. Insane. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I literally know one of my classmates for the chapter question just kind of explained what the chapter was about, wrote one detail out of the 3, and then said, I read this book front to back. I could not tell you where one chapter ended and the next began. Like, you as a person, I just don't think we meshed well in this class. And I was like, that's hilarious. I don't think he's gonna count that, but oh god. Nice try. Yeah. I don't know if I want to edit all the yawning out. That might take too much work. We'll see. You guys will know whether or not I did. If I do, that means I probably have to edit out all of this, which means it's probably not happening. So you guys can enjoy all of the ons. Although I already have something to edit together because I accidentally stopped recording once. See, hopefully you guys don't notice when that happens, but sometimes I do it on accident because my computer will like start to fall asleep, so I'll like move the thing on the trackpad and it'll be like left on the record button and then it'll stop recording. And then I have to like go into the audio and edit the things together. It's really a pain when I have to fix it like with the video because I have to get the video synced up at first and then I have to go through and find where it's not synced up and fix it again there. And then I have to try and cut out like the same amount of video that I cut out from the audio. Thankfully the program I use is like syncs kind of like by itself almost. So that's nice. DaVinci 18. Woo. Yeah. My almost successful romantic endeavor has gotten confusing. He was not in class that Monday. He was in class. Ooh, I can't remember. We might have had a lecture. I think we had a lecture that Wednesday. And then he was in class Friday. Which ended up okay. It was fine. Yeah. And then so we kept being friends. We like studied together for the final because this shit's fucked. Yeah. And then we like hung out a couple times. Somebody needs to explain straight men to me. Because I don't know if he's like straight. Well, I assume he is because I came out to him and he was chill with it, but didn't say he was anything other than straight. So, yeah, because we were having a conversation kind of about that stuff. Yeah, I came out to him and he was like chill with it. But like, okay, because he told me he wasn't ready to continue pursuing a relationship. But I cannot, for the life of me, read this man, right? Like, is this a universal experience? Somebody tell me, please. Like, because he kind of explained to me why he's bad at answering texts. But at the same time, if he wanted to talk to me, he would like text me. Right? Right? Like, am I going insane? I don't know. Because he'll like not text me all day. And then the day of the final, he like brought me a burrito and a Doritos soda from this taco place that he wanted to take me to when we started going out. Which I think was because I bought him chicken tenders one time because he told me he wasn't going to eat dinner because he had to study. And I was like, so I brought him chicken tenders. Then he brought me that food, which was really nice. I appreciated it. But I didn't know what to do with it because I was getting picked up that day by my family in like 45 minutes and we were going to go eat dinner. And I had this burrito. Plus, I'm a picky eater. So it was my worst nightmare. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what was in it. It was cold. So I put it in the microwave and then I faced my fears and I ate it, and it was a very good burrito. um yeah. It was very awkward when he gave it to me though, because I forget I'm a fast test taker until I take tests with people in the room. And because this final was the first time I'd taken a test with other people in the room all term. All term. Because all of the other tests that I've had are like take home tests, because my school has this honor code where like we sign this thing that says we won't cheat. And most people don't. So yeah, they're like take home tests. So this is my first time like taking it in the room. And so like towards the end when I was like done, I was even trying to like slow down cuz I kind of thought he was like also kind of done. So I was like I looked over my answers like twice. I was trying to like be slow. And so then I get up and I put it in the box and I walk back and it's just sitting on my chair. It's so funny. I was like, what? And then he just goes like, take it. And I was like, okay. And I was like, thank you. It was so funny. It's the thought that counts, okay? Yeah. I'm just confused. Because, like, when he's responding, he'll respond fairly quickly, right? But I don't think he's, like, ever been the one to text first, which is kind of an experiment I'm running right now. Not texting him first. We'll see what happens. But I'm very confused because he like came to my room to like watch a movie, and I thought we were gonna kiss at one point and then we didn't. I don't know if it was because we both kind of chickened out or if he was expecting me to make the first move, but I was waiting for him because I'm like, you're the one that said you weren't ready, so I'm not gonna push your boundaries. Plus, I don't really know what I'm doing. Because there were moments I could have been a lot flirtier the like entire time, like after that text when we were hanging out, but I didn't want to push it because he's the one that said he like wasn't ready. I was like, I'm not gonna. If you want to just be friends, I can do that. But I'm getting weird vibes. Make it make sense. Ugh. Maybe this episode will be Why Do Men Part 2. Except that would be a little bit of a clickbaity title because this has been like the last 10 minutes. Most of it was about school. But yeah, someone explain that to me. Like, if guys are talking to girls they like, do they like respond all the time? Is it like not something they think about? I know my audience is 0% straight men, so I feel like this may not be the best place to put this question out there. But I guess other people who are interested in men that are out there, is this normal? Because I can't tell. And it's making me upset. Because I don't know what's going on. So, yeah. And if I do happen to somehow attract men all of a sudden to this podcast, please answer that question. What is going on? Someone. Yeah. Because I think if he didn't like me, he would just say that. He asked me why I'm so nice to him, and I didn't know how to answer that question. So I was like, am I supposed to be mean to you? Like, I don't know. And then you said I was one of the nicest people he'd met. And I was like, well, I could have said because I like you, but one, he said he wasn't ready. Two, I don't want him to think that my like respect for him as a person is like conditional based on like my attraction to him, you know, because his value as a human being is not completely determined by that. So, men, take that note. Okay. People are not only worthy if you're attracted to them. Yeah. So, yeah. That's been it. Maybe we'll get this up by midnight. 24 hours late. We'll see. Anyways, my favorite song this week is a very recent development, like today, because I was watching um, uh, Barefoot Contessa and Ina Garten show, like her newer one, and she had Faith Hill on the show, and so I was listening to some Faith Hill, and my favorite song right now from that is What's in It for Me by Faith Hill.